Alright, so today I'm doing an anime studio tier list. This is just about every relevant anime studio. If your favorite isn't here, I'm sorry, it's probably irrelevant. And I don't expect you to know what all these studios have made, so I'll go through a couple relevant shows, scroll through the My Anime List page, and maybe show a couple clips if it's really good or bad. Also, some of this can be confusing with what gets credited for what, because some things are made by one studio but then distributed by another. And My Anime List will credit both of them. So I'm just going by My Anime List. If I say something that's wrong, don't take it up with me, take it up with them. That being said, I'm going to just get into it. Starting off with 8-Bit, they've made Reincarnated as a Slime. And that's really the only show by them that I have seen. Slime's a good isekai though. It's probably one of the best. I just made a video on isekai if you want to watch it, self-promotion. But just because I haven't seen much by them, I feel like I have to put it B tier. Maybe if they make more isekai in the future, I can move them up or down, I don't know. A1 Pictures, they've made Sword Art Online, which is an alright isekai. Yearline April, which is a beautiful show. Seven Deadly Sins, which season 1's really good. Kind of fell off. Erased, which started off really good. Odd ending, but it's still a good show. Anohana, Love is War, which I have not seen, but I've heard good things. Magi, but they also made I don't know if they made. I don't think they made the really bad season of Seven Deadly Sins, but I'm not sure. They might have. They're fine. They haven't made any masterpieces. Maybe Yearline April, but I don't think they have anything that can push them up to A. I'm gonna just put them with 8-Bit. AIC. They've made Data Live, Haganai, Oraimo. They've just, other than Data Live, they've just made a bunch of ecchis. I don't really know anything about Data Live. If it's your favorite show, sorry, I can't rate it based on that. But since they really only have ecchis, I can't really put them higher than C tier. They're good at what they're going for, but they're not striving for greatness. ARMS, I think it's a similar thing. Yeah, they've just made like Elfin Lied, and then just a bunch of ecchis like Ikitusen, Valkyrie Drive. I believe they're also a hentai studio back in the day, but I mean they're great at what they're doing, I guess, but not striving for greatness. They're with AIC. Artland, they've made Mushishi, a bunch of stuff with Mushishi. I've never seen that, so I'm gonna have to make a tier for have not watched enough. Give me a second. Alright, Artland's the first one that I cannot rate. But Bones, that's definitely one of the best out there. They've made Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. I think it's a little overrated, but it's still a fantastic show. It's the highest rated anime ever. My Hero Academia, haven't seen it, but really devoted fan base, so it's gotta be at least alright. Noragami, that was pretty good. Mob Psycho was really good, actually. Really good animation, good story. I think they're the first. I think I actually have to put them in S tier for that. They just made so many shows that I think will go down as classics in like a decade. And Full Metal Alchemist, that's pretty much already a classic at this point. Cloverworks. So they made Promised Neverland season 1, really good. Bunny Girl Senpai, that's pretty good. Darling in the Franxx, haven't watched enough. Horimiya started off really good, but it just got kind of boring. Spy Family, I think they're kind of connected with Wit with that, but I think Wit is mainly credited for Spy Family, so I'm not really gonna weigh that here. But even though they've done a lot of good things, they made Promised Neverland season 2, so I feel like even if they have made a couple good shows. You can't really make up for that. They can't expect me to forgive them for that. So I'm gonna have to keep them in B tier. Comics Wave. They've made the Shinkai films, which are all phenomenal. Other than that, I haven't really seen anything that they've made, but I feel like that's enough to put them at least in A tier. Because beautiful animation, great stories. Maybe I could move them up to S tier if I feel like the shows in A or the studios in A tier don't really compete with it, but we'll see later. C Station. I actually haven't seen anything by C Station. Euro Camp, and just a bunch of stuff with that. They haven't made that much, so I just really can't rate them. David Production. They made JoJo's, which I have not seen. I'm sure it's great. The art style looks cool. I'm sure the plot's good. But when I started watching anime, I promised myself I would never watch JoJo's. And so far, I've been able to stick with my principles, so I can't rate it on that. Fire Force, really good animation. The sound effects, like you can feel them. And the plot's pretty good for Fire Force. So they've also made Bento, which, I mean, you can't really hate Bento. I mean, it's by no means a classic, but it's still a show. I'll put them in top of B tier because I feel like even though I haven't seen JoJo's, I know it's at least good enough to give them some credit for it. But again, I haven't seen their most popular show. I can't put it in A tier. Doga Kobo. They've made Monthly Girls, Plastic Memories, that one weightlifting anime, Senko-san. They haven't made anything phenomenal. I have not seen Plastic Memories. I have seen the weightlifting one for some reason, like years ago. I've seen part of Monthly Girls. Senko-san's alright. I'll give them top of B tier. They haven't made any like masterpieces that I've seen, but they've made some good shows that I think are worth watching. Feel. They've made Origairu, Kiss X Sis. I didn't know those were made by the same person, but I guess they're really good at their side of the spectrum. Suki Gakiri, which is cool. Mayo Chiki, which is interesting. That one High School DxD ripoff. Yosuga no Sora. I did not know that and Kiss X Sis were made by the same people as Origairu. I guess that's good to know. I could give them A because they're good at what they're doing, but I have a very strong personal bias against Origairu because it got hyped up so much and people say it's the best romance anime, but personally, I think Clannad is miles above, so again, B tier. I'm kind of filling up B tier, but maybe towards the end it'll help it have a little bit of a bell curve because, you know, that's what you got to go for. Gainax, Evangelion, End of Evangelion, Gurren Lagann, Fooly Cooly. Just great shows, great plots, and really good cinematography, if you can say that with anime. I think this one has to be an S tier studio. They haven't really made anything super recent, so if they don't compete with the rest in S, then maybe I'll move them down. I'm not sure yet, but they can stay in S for now. Gino. They've only made like 10 things. The only one I've really heard of is Golden Kamuy. Oh, they also made an episode of Star Wars Visions, so I guess that's cool, but I haven't seen either of those, so I can't really rate that. Gonzo. Ooh. They've made a lot of shows that I've heard of. Welcome to the NHK is probably one of my favorite. It's definitely my top 5. Hellsing's, I've heard of it, never seen it. Full Metal Panic, heard of it, never seen it. Afro Samurai, heard of it, never seen it. Gantz, I've heard a lot about the manga. I don't really know if the anime is as good, but people love the manga for Gantz. Strike Witches. Alright, so I've only seen one show, but I love that show. So maybe this is a bias, but I'm putting them A tier. What's next? Kinema Citrus. Shield Hero, Made in Abyss, Black Bullet. So they've made a lot of the good newer anime. Made in Abyss is phenomenal. Shield Hero is pretty good for an isekai. But other than that, I have not seen anything. I mean, they're good. Right now, maybe top of B tier. Maybe I can move them up if B tier starts to become a little bit too overwhelming, because that's kind of where all these are going, kind of mid, you know? Ooh, Kyoto Animation. This one's kind of obvious. Everybody loves Kyoto Animation. That's S tier, clearly. Going into this, really, I only knew them for A Silent Voice, which is a great movie, but looking at their Mal page, they also made Violet Evergarden, which is beautiful. Chunibyo, which I saw years ago, and it's definitely one of the more popular romance animes. Clannad, which is really good, and then Clannad After Story, which is definitely in my top 10, all phenomenal. They've also made Haruhi Suzumiya, I believe, which is a classic from its time, back during the Renaissance. And then Free, which I have not seen, but they've made a lot, so obvious S tier, really. Lerche or Lerche, I don't know how to say that. They make a lot of like school anime for some reason, like Assassination Classroom. I think this is called Classroom of the Elite, Danganronpa, which is alright. Monster Musume, as much as I want to love it, it starts off with like a tentacle thing, so I couldn't really watch that. They also made Scum's Wish, which is I really don't like Scum's Wish. I feel like it tries to be too realistic, but you're never gonna get realistic romance in an anime, so it just came out terrible. They've made a lot that I've heard of, but nothing that completely blew me away, other than maybe like the end of Assassination Classroom. So maybe I'll put them top of B. I say top of B with every studio in B, so obviously they're not all top of B, but it's my list. I can say what I want. Leiden Films. They've made Tokyo Revengers, which is one of my favorite newer shows. It's really the only one recently I've been able to keep up with, other than maybe Spy Family. They also made... Ooh, that's a lot of damage, man. They made Berserk 2016, which isn't the most critically acclaimed show. So even though I do like Tokyo Revengers, you can't recover from Berserk 2016. You have the best source material ever, and you turn it into the worst show ever. I mean, the animation, I don't know how they thought that would fly. So I could have put it in C tier, man. I'm sorry. I can't forgive them for that. Why even try if you're gonna do that to Berserk? Alright, but moving on to Madhouse. Definitely one of the better studios. Death Note, One Punch Man, both absolutely phenomenal shows, which even kind of transcend just anime fans. Like, I know a lot of people who talk about Death Note that I wouldn't think would be big anime fans. Hunter x Hunter is also a phenomenal shonen. Parasite, I love Parasite. One of my favorite shows. Death Parade, it's really cool. Definitely a unique show. I like that one episode where, like, most of the time they like end up like fighting and one goes either way. But then in that one episode where they end up having like a date and then they all go to like I don't remember what it's called. I think they just get reincarnated or something. But it's like they're like heaven or something. High School of the Dead, which is cool, I guess. They made Monster. I I love the monster anime, but I never finished it because it's not on any streaming service, so you kind of have to pirate it or watch it on YouTube. But it is the first anime that got me to pick up the manga, which is really good. Um, Girl Who Leapt Through Time, I think that's called. Perfect Blue, Paprika, Nana. Well, they've made a lot. Paranoia Agent, Beck. They're stacked, man. I mean, they're not really coming out with too many great new anime, but they've made so many things that are just so memorable. They're obvious S tier. It's not even close. Mappa. Mappa came out of nowhere. Like they've been making so many shows, and like every new show that I'm excited for seems to be made by Mappa. Like they made Jujutsu Kaisen, Attack on Titan season 4, or season 4, but like three. I don't know why they're doing that, man. Why didn't they just name it season 4 and the next one season 5? Terror and Resonance. I didn't know they made that. Dororo, Dorohedoro, Inuyashiki. Got a High School, which is a good animation, even if the plot was kind of non-existent. Banana Fish. So they do have a nice lineup. They could be S tier, but they're kind of new. We haven't really seen how their shows will age and if they'll keep it up. So I don't think I can put them in S tier just yet, but they're very high A tier. And depending on how they do with Chainsaw Man, it could definitely easily move up to S tier in my mind. OLM. Komi Can't Communicate. Pokemon. I believe this is 1997 Berserk. Yeah. Which is definitely better than 2016. Odd Taxi, which I've heard great things, but I haven't seen it yet. And then a lot of Pokemon stuff. They're cool. I haven't seen enough of what they've made. Like, they seem to be mainly a Pokemon studio with Berserk 1997. I haven't really seen much of that. I haven't seen Komi Can't Communicate. So even though I'm sure a lot of their shows are good, I just can't rate it yet. I don't know. Passion, Citrus, High School DxD, Interspecies Reviewers, just a bunch of ecchis. Interspecies Reviewers stands out as an ecchi at least. You know, some good comedy in there. New Higurashi. I want to put them in B tier, but I can't. Like, I can't really put them with like David Production. So the best ecchi studio out there, but still an ecchi studio. PA Works. Angel Beats, another Charlotte. I've seen part of Angel Beats, not the whole thing, but I haven't seen anything else they've made, so I'm not going to rate them. Oh, Pura, this is controversial. They may not have the best animation, but they made 2 of the big 3, Tokyo Ghoul, which started off great, and Yu Yu Hakusho. I feel like just for that, like they've brought so many classics that really just are pillars of anime that they have to be S tier. I mean, come on. I can't put them anywhere else. Maybe I'm a biased Naruto fan. Maybe. I'm definitely a biased Naruto fan. But I stand by that. Production IG. So, this is where it kind of gets confusing. A lot of the studios are connected. Like, some will make an anime, but then it will be distributed by another studio. So Production IG, they get credit for like all the stuff WIT makes because WIT is like under them. So they're credited for all of Attack on Titan, but I don't know if I can really give that to them. They also have Psycho Pass, which is great. Vinland Saga, which is great. So they made a lot of good shows, but I don't really know what I can credit them with. So Since they just have a stacked lineup, I'll put them in A. I don't think I can put them in S because I don't know how much they did with Attack on Titan other than publishing it. Um, Satellite. Alright. Fairy Tail, Log Horizon. They've made a lot of relevant shows, but none that I've seen, so I can't rate them. Shaft. Shaft's made Monogatari, Nisekoi, March Comes in Like a Lion. I've heard a lot of good things with the Monogatari series. I've seen Nisekoi here and there, but the only one I've really watched here is March Comes in Like a Lion, which is a phenomenal show. I'll admit, I learned how to play chess after watching this. But since I've only seen one of their shows, I can't really rate them above B. I mean, I'm sure Monogatari is great. Maybe it's not, but I'll just leave it there. Alright, Shin. I think it's Shin A Animation. I haven't seen any of their shows, so that's another have not watched enough. Silver Link. They've made Chivalry of a Failed Knight. Kokoro Connect, which is cool, I guess. There's that one interesting scene, and then a bunch of stuff I haven't seen. Ao-chan, I think I've seen that. They haven't really made a masterpiece, but they have a couple relevant shows. So they're at least B tier, but they're obviously not Mappa. Studio Dean. Konosuba, Fate Stay Night, Sakamoto, Sankareya, Rurouni Kenshin. They have their place, they're not terrible. Konosuba is the best comedy isekai. Fate Stay Night is cool. Wait. I actually think they might have done. I think they actually might be the ones that did Seven Deadly Sins Season 3. So, that is questionable to say the least. But Sakamoto, great show. But because I think they might have been somewhat responsible for the later seasons of Seven Deadly Sins, they can't really be higher than B tier. Alright, Studio Ghibli, another self-promotion coming up. I actually just made a video on Studio Ghibli. I say just made, it was months ago, but the video took me a long time. You know, you could go watch it if you want to know my thoughts, but if you've seen the video, obvious S tier. Just, they don't really miss. Even their misses are still entertaining. Some of the best anime movies ever made. The only anime to win an Oscar. No, it's not an Oscar. Like an Academy. I don't know what they're called. There's awards. The movie awards. Sunrise. Code Geass, Cowboy Bebop, Inuyasha. They made a lot of classics. They may have fallen off a little bit, but I mean, they were made in 1976. I don't expect them to still be pumping out shows like Nappa. But they have made a couple classics. Cowboy Bebop's fantastic. Code Geass is great. Gintama, I have not seen, but I've heard great things. So I think it's safe to put them in A tier. TMS Entertainment. Alright. It's Dr. Stone. It's one of my favorite new shows. It's definitely an interesting concept. Real life, fantastic for a romance anime. Rent-A Girlfriend is Rent-A Girlfriend. There's nothing else to say about it. Orange. I remember Orange being pretty good. I haven't seen Nagatoro. Megalobox, I've heard things about. But they made Baki. Baki is a phenomenal show. Baki is probably one of the best shows, actually. So, I think they've earned A tier. I mean, Baki, it's a classic, man. You may say, oh, but the CGI in Baki is terrible. It's carried by the story. But they brought us Baki. It doesn't matter if they didn't write the manga, if it comes from a manga. I know there is a Baki manga, but I don't know if the Netflix one comes from it. But they brought us that. They let us watch it in animation, so they deserve everything, man. A tier. Toei, all right. Toei, not the most beautiful animation, but their animation's cool. They've also brought us classics. One Piece, come on, one of the big three. Dragon Ball Z. I think they published End of Evangelion. Digimon. Yu-Gi-Oh. Just some great shows. So you can't really rank them anything other than S tier. They've just done so much for anime. One Piece is great. Now that I'm seeing this, why do I have more in S tier than A tier and C tier? I don't know, but there's just so many great studios out there. Next is Trigger. Speaking of great studios, they are not one of them. Nah, I shouldn't say that. They're fine. I haven't seen Kill la Kill, which is their highest rated show, so I guess I don't have the best opinion on them. I've seen part of Darling in the Franxx, but other than that, I haven't seen any of their shows, so I'm not going to rate them. Ufotable. I'm going to have to put another one in S. I mean, by far the best animation. Some scenes in Demon Slayer are just incredible. They also did Fate Zero, a couple other Fates, like 40 other Fates actually. So I haven't seen many of their shows, but what I've seen is the most beautiful thing I've seen in any, so S tier. I have way too many in S tier. I might have to move one down when I'm done. White Fox. White Fox made Steins Gate, Re:Zero. I love Steins Gate. It's definitely in my top 10. Devil is a Part-Timer. Definitely one of the most unique shows out there. Akame ga Kill, haven't seen, but people like it, I think. Goblin Slayer, I think it's got like a controversial first episode or something. They're alright. I shouldn't say alright. They made Steins Gate, Re:Zero, and Devil is a Part-Timer. I'm gonna put them in A tier. Maybe I'm doing it because I need more studios in A tier. Or maybe I'm doing it because I think they're an A tier studio. I don't know. Wit. Oh, come on. Oh, no. I want to put them in S tier. I do. Seraph of the End, Vinland Saga, Spy Family, which is phenomenal. Attack on Titan Season 1, 2, and 3. Season 3 is probably my favorite. Great Pretender. Oh, they've done so much, but I can't put them in S tier because I've put too many in S tier, man. I think I'm going to move down like Gainax. Hold on, let me look at what they made. Gainax, Evangelion, Fooly Cooly, Gurren Lagann. I can move Gainax down to A tier, top of A tier, but I can move them down and not feel terrible about it because I think Wit is more deserving of S tier. Alright, Zebek, I think that's how it's pronounced. Telovru, Keijo. Alright, so it's another ecchi. I'll put him in C tier. Keijo's got good animation, I guess, some good physics going on. And then last, but maybe least, Project 9. I say maybe because actually, I've seen a couple of these shows. The high school one, I think I dropped that one because there was like one of the old guys came up and did some weird things, and then they all forgave him for some reason, so I dropped it after that because that's weird. You never thought there was a girl online. You see, the show just kind of gives a lot of people false hope because your online girlfriend is not a real person. I'm sorry, they're not. And other than that, I haven't seen anything. They're like a C tier studio. They're fine. I say fine, but I put them bottom 5. But yeah, that's gonna be it for the video. If you agree with my rankings, like and subscribe. If you disagree, like, subscribe, and tell me why you disagree. And bye.